So we did the fast metabolism diet. This was organized into 3 phases during the week. In phase one, which was Monday and Tuesday, we ate high carbohydrates or high amount of carbohydrates and fruits. And then also on these 2 days, we had to have a vigorous cardio session to burn off all the extra adrenal hormones. And for phase two, which was Wednesday and Thursday, we ate vegetables and proteins. Um, During this phase, we also had strength training, which was in heavy weights with low reps to stimulate the liver to lay muscle and burn fat. And then in phase three, which was the Friday and including the weekend, we were allowed to have fruits, carbs, vegetables, protein, and healthy fats and oils. This phase required us to have at least one day of stress-reducing activities to help support healthy hormone balance. So the main goals we had for our diet was to lose weight and reduce body fat percentage. The second goal was to maintain hormone balance, and then the third goal was to have better eating habits.
Okay, so before I started the fast metabolism diet, my diet mainly consisted of 3 to 4 days a week of McDonald's, their large fries, 20-piece chicken nuggets, and a Big Mac. And when they had it, the Grand Mac. And then, like, whenever I wanted to treat myself, their McFlurry. And then I'd have, like, I'd have carne asada fries at least once a week. And I definitely didn't drink water every day. Mountain Dew was my go-to drink. And I was fully aware that I had a really bad diet, and so my main goal with the fast metabolism diet was to help improve my overall health, because I was sure that I needed it. So during phase one, on Mondays and Tuesdays, I had my high carb and fruit days. So for breakfast, I would usually have oatmeal with blueberries. For lunch, I had usually like a chicken sausage with brown rice. And then for dinner, I had brown rice again, and maybe like a side of kidney beans, and some mixed greens. And then for snacks in between my meals, I just had fruits, so like cherries, strawberries, and honey. So during phase two, on Wednesdays and Thursdays, I had my high protein and vegetable days, where for breakfast I would usually have beef stew meat and asparagus. And then for lunch I would have maybe like chicken breast with cabbage. And then for dinner I would usually have roast beef with broccoli. And then I still had to have snacks in between each meal, and they still had to be protein, so I chose to have beef jerky as my snacks on these days. So I found phase three to be the most difficult to work with because of my work schedule, and it was just unreasonable for me to eat that often throughout the day during an 8-hour shift. But on these days, I would try to eat like my protein, so chicken or beef, and then my fruits and vegetables. I was also allowed to have healthy fats during the weekend, so I had avocado, and then I was finally able to cook with olive oil. So I stopped the diet at about week 3, and I mainly stopped it because of, I would say, mood changes, and also I had an allergy going on and it was just getting worse, so I just wanted to stop the diet. And I honestly didn't see any changes. My weight stayed about the same throughout the diet. Body fat percentage stayed about the same. Waist circumference didn't have any significant changes either.
Alrighty. So I had a lot of high hopes going into the fast metabolism diet. I had heard that people lost a lot of weight on it and that you're just eating a lot. And I didn't think that that would be that hard to stick to, but it definitely was. Even with all the eating, I didn't feel very I felt very hungry. Which is weird for me because I don't eat a lot during the day. So I thought that adding food throughout the day would make me more satisfied, but it didn't. I think just the little snacks ended up making me hungrier because it wasn't enough to fill me up, so my stomach thought it was like a tease. Phase 1 was definitely the easiest to stick to, a lot of fruits and carbohydrates, but definitely didn't feel full from it. Phase 2 was more difficult with all the protein, but it definitely did fill me up more, but also made me feel a little sick and kind of moody. Phase 3, with the adding the fats to everything else, helped make it easier to cook and prepare, but with it being on the weekend, it was very hard to stick to with my work schedule and just it being the weekend, and I don't want to prepare all my meals and meal plan and not be able to eat the fun stuff. So that was kind of hard. And with working in a restaurant, I had a lot of other options that I could eat that, you know what, sometimes tasted a whole lot better than what I had planned. Overall, I was pretty upset with how this diet ended. I had really high hopes coming in. I was excited to find a diet and stick to it. I had tried things. I always wanted to get on a certain type of eating plan, but it just never happened because I couldn't stick to it. And this is another one that I couldn't stick to. I ended up stopping at the 4th week. I didn't do the 4th week because I noticed major mood swings. I was very unhappy by this point. I had been told by a lot of people that knew I was doing the diet that thought really recommended me to get off of it because I was changing a lot. I was being very moody and they were not happy about it. So overall, I was kind of upset about how this happened, but I think I'll give it another try, maybe when I'm not in school and my schedule isn't as hectic.